Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We start on the daily chart. We typically do that once a day. Any other updates throughout the day will be just focused on the short term. The idea is still, that we completed probably a fourth wave here around the 38.2 retracement, where the price tested that ideal target for a fourth wave a couple of times. That was here on Friday, the 5th of July, and we tested again on the 8th of July, formed a higher low, and then broke the trend line. And now the indicators gave us already a couple of weeks ago those signals. For example, the MACD turned bullish. We had a bullish cross. We talked about that only, I think, a day after it happened. The RSI, you were aware before we even broke the first trend line here, and the bullish divergence was visible. And again, that signal that we talked about, oversold RSI on the daily time frame, worked like a charm this time again. This was clearly, again, one of the best and earliest signals that we received. I myself acted on it. I know a lot of members acted on it. Maybe some of you here on YouTube as well. Oversold on the daily time frame on the RSI, whether we are now really breaking out or not. It was, again, a great signal. And in addition to that, we then saw a bullish divergence, which was an even better signal. And then the breaks of the trend lines just confirmed. So that's just something for the future to watch for. If the daily RSI is oversold, it can be interesting. In addition to that, some of you might remember that we also talked about, and that was it last week? 1 or 2 weeks ago? We talked about the Bollinger Bands on the weekly. Let me see if I find them. Maybe I switched them off. There you go. And we talked about that the Bollinger Bands were overstretched to the downside on the weekly. It doesn't happen every day. When it happened last time, it was down here in August. It led to a rally. Before that, it was the bear market low. In November 22, it led to a rally. Now it happened again. And I assumed at least a corrective bounce, possibly something more bullish, to the middle line, and we're now in that area, that moving average area, on the Bollinger Bands around 66K. So all of that together acted as great set of signals for a bullish perspective, and that we should at least see a corrective bounce, and that we are watching for higher prices, and that we just need to wait for a 5-wave move from an Elliott Wave point of view to confirm that a low is in. But that all these signals already gave us hints that we could see some upside from there. And that's also what the orange supporter region is for. That's what the box is for. So we had everything we needed. An oversold RSI, bullish divergences, breaks of trend lines, all in our trend reversal area. And sometimes people say that it's too late when all 5 waves have formed. Well, too late for what? I mean, is it too late to buy? Maybe. You won't get the best price up there if all 5 waves have formed. But the time to buy is not when all 5 waves have formed, because that, as you know, from an Elliott Wave point of view, will typically lead to a correction, right? So you don't normally want to wait with buying until all 5 waves have formed, unless you are prepared to take a pullback first. Idea is either to buy the pullback in wave 2 or get positioned before that 5-wave move happens. And that is obviously what I try to tell you in these videos. There's no point telling you after a breakout happened or after the move happened. We have the box on the chart, which should be colorful enough for everybody to see. This is the area where it is favorable to add positions generally, okay? If you do that, only you can decide based on your risk profile and so on. I acted on this, and in addition to that, we had additional signals, right? I mean, that could have provided setups like a break of the trend line and so on, And then, obviously, in addition to that, we're watching the Elliott Waves to find out when we can also, from an Elliott Wave point of view, confirm that a low is in, which will allow us to provide the next support region for this wave 2, which would be the next setup. So we have this box, and once we have all 5 waves completed, we can add the next support zone. Because until we have 5 waves, this main box between 50.6K and 61.7K remains relevant. So that's all good. You can see that we are here still in a range. So really we need to break above that 72K level up here in order to really break out of that range and follow further the bullish perspective here that I have. And no, there was no signal that a bear market has started. Could it still happen? Of course, of course, could a bear market? It could, of course, still happen. But as long as we're holding 50,670, there is nothing bearish here about this chart. So let's go to the smaller time frame quickly. Here we've seen that rally from the 5th of July low. This is the 30-minute chart. From our support zone, we've seen the rally, we've seen the break of resistance and the trend line here. And we fulfilled a healthy third wave, which topped on Wednesday, the 7th of July. Yesterday, at around the same time, we had completed an ABC structure to the downside. We were watching for a B wave rally, possibly up to 67,260. Didn't need to go that high. I mean, I showed you all these other relevant resistances. I think starting from the 50% fib level, the B waves have no real target. B waves can overshoot, which is why I specifically highlighted the possibility a B wave could stretch to 67,260. And so we got there. So everything actually, even though it was maxing out the resistance area, everything actually that we talked about in yesterday's video around the same time like now materialized. And yeah, it maxed out resistance, but still it is within the previously defined parameters. Before we carry on, by the way, and before I forget, this weekend again on X, you voted actually. It's 2 minutes left, so you won't be able to vote anymore, but ideally you did if you watched previous videos where I reminded you. You could vote for a coin for me to analyze on X specifically. I know a lot of people waited for a Pepe update, so this will come out today. Check it out. You can follow us on X. If you follow the link in the description, just make sure you follow only the correct profile with a blue check mark. So Pepe update today on X only, not on YouTube. So yeah, that B wave. So it could have topped. We could have topped in a B wave. And what happened was we've seen a rally. There was a trigger point somewhere here, which sparked that B wave rally. And that was, I think, around 64,500 or something, or even a bit lower, which was the signal that the B wave is started. Okay. So, it happened. We reached that resistance area. Yeah, we maxed it out, but we didn't break resistance. And now that we've reached this critical pivot, we need to look at the chart and see where do we go now? Where do we go now? And looking at the retracement from yesterday's high, while this could have been a B wave, and we could be on our way now in wave C of 4 here, so that the wave 4 is still unfolding before we get that wave 5. Remember, we just talked on the daily chart about the 5 wave move up. The pullback remains in 3 waves. So I will not rule out direct upside extensions. If we go any further from here, it will be more clearly the yellow wave 5, so that we're already in the 5th wave and the 4th wave was shallow. I put an announcement, an article out yesterday to members on Discord, silver and gold members, basically just to remind them of what happened in October. And then also in October last year, I put a statement out, and that it was a very, very clear signal. Well, when we saw only very, very shallow pullbacks, shallow pullbacks, extensions, those are signals we need to watch for. That when we saw that, I put a statement out and said, okay, the market is starting to change its face to possibly something more bullish. When we see in all these crypto charts, 4th wave pullbacks starting to become extremely shallow, and this one was, assuming this really was wave 4, okay, we don't know that yet. Really a wave 5 should get closer to 68.5, 70k, yeah. But if this was a wave 4, it was less deep than expected. And that's a valuable signal, right? That's something to watch for. I wanted to see wave 4 go a little lower. But again, the signal for that B wave or high B wave told us that at least we're in a B wave. But that wave 4 was less deep than expected. Now, I use that as a signal. I saw that back in October, and it was a signal that we're entering a bullish phase. Can't promise that, but it's something to watch out for, okay? These signals, when pullbacks are shallow and the market just doesn't want to stop anymore, these are signals. And then this means we have to adjust expectations. For example, if people say, okay, let's get this 5th wave done, I will buy nice and deep in a wave 2, because these 5 waves will form a wave 1. Then I will buy in a wave 2. Where should it go? Well, the thing is, if we are really in a bullish phase, pullbacks in wave 2s will be extremely shallow. So it might only reach like 63.5, 64K. You know, the previous wave 4 low. So what I'm watching for today is basically, I have it still on the chart here as a potential that this here could still be an unfolding wave 4. Don't really believe it anymore. But for a really healthy wave 5, I need to see the price get a little bit higher towards 68.5 to 70K, either directly or after a dip into this orange support area, which is yellow B wave support between 64,140 and 65,820. The pullback is in 3 waves, so it might be that we form a more healthy B wave pullback here into the orange support region, but a 3-wave pullback always leaves the door open for a more direct move to the upside. But if we get into this orange support region, it could the market could use it as a setup for higher. It's only an A-B, however, it's not like a 1-2 setup, but still, this is the Fibonacci support area, not a target. Fibonacci support, and any break above yesterday's high will make me rule out the high B wave, and would rather emphasize the yellow wave 5 is really clearly unfolding. And then we have that signal that we've been waiting for all along, that we have a 5-wave move up from the 5th of July low. And that's when we can add the next support zone here for a wave 2 pullback. That's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.